It's almost turkey day, and you're gonna look and you're gonna find what everyone claims to be the best way to smoke a turkey. But today, I'm gonna simplify things and I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know about turkey preparation and the different options that you have available to you. So stick around and see what we've got to say. If you're new here, my name is Andrew and I'm an engineer. So everything you see here at Anderson Smoke Show is gonna be technical and to the point. Whether that's grilling tips, whether that's grill assemblies, food prep, or like today, this turkey prep. You're gonna find it all here. So stick around, see what we've got to say. When it comes to turkey prep, there are a lot of different methods that you can apply. So today I'm gonna talk about everything from start to finish. And we're gonna start with fresh or frozen. Obviously, everybody knows that a fresh turkey is gonna be the best. And truthfully, it's one of the most efficient options that there are, because not only is it already thawed out, it is fresh, never been frozen, it's ready to rock and roll the day that you buy it. The difference is the price. Typically, a frozen turkey is significantly cheaper than a fresh turkey. If you're looking to save money on your Thanksgiving or your holiday, get a frozen turkey, but you need to do this a week in advance because you need to get it into the refrigerator and thaw it out. They typically say it's about a day for every 5 pounds of turkey. So if you're going to be brining, which we'll talk about later, and you need to thaw this out, you need a solid week of time to get that thawed and prepared for your holiday or for your family feast. I typically get frozen when I can and when I have the time, but there are times that I have to get a fresh because I need to get it done within a day or two. So really, just plan accordingly and you can work with either one. When it comes to purchasing that turkey, you know, you're gonna see sizes anywhere from about 11 or 12 pounds up into the 20 plus. And really, it depends on the size of your family. To be honest with you, I would rather buy two 12 or 13 pound turkeys and do them side by side than try and mess with a 20 pound turkey. It makes prep a lot harder. It makes cooking it a little bit more difficult because it's gonna take a lot more time. You're gonna have to worry about keeping everything moist. I would rather do two smaller than one large, but that's entirely up to you. So the first step in turkey prep, you've already got it thawed, you've got it ready to go. It's gonna be to brine it. If you're not brining your turkey, you're doing something wrong. There are two methods to brining. You've got a wet brine or a dry brine. I personally like a wet brine. I use a concoction that I've put together over the past few years, and I personally think it yields an amazing turkey. I use vegetable broth, I use salt, I use brown sugar, I use other seasonings, and I'll put the recipe down in the description. But that, I feel, makes a great turkey. Now the thing is with a wet brine, it's gonna take 2 to 3 days. At a minimum, you're looking 24 hours, but I like to do this at least 2 to 3 days in advance. That allows the salt and the spices and all of that flavor to lock into that turkey. There's two main benefits of a dry brine. The first, because of the salt and the way that the moisture is drawn out and soaks back in, the skin itself will start out a little drier, which means you're going to get a crispier finish on that turkey. The second benefit to a dry brine is the fact that you don't need 2 to 3 days of brining time. You can dry brine overnight in the refrigerator on a wire rack, and 12 hours to 24 hours is all you need. It'll be ready to go. So if you're looking to cut down the days of work, you could get a fresh turkey and do a dry brine and have it ready within 12 hours. So the next step in turkey prep is seasoning. Now mind you, there are a million different seasonings out there in barbecue rubs and things that claim to be the best poultry or the best turkey rub. My personal preference and my personal experience over all of the turkeys that I've cooked is an herb-based rub. I think that they turn out the best. It brings out the natural flavors within the meat, and it's just a perfect blend. My favorite to use is the Spiceology turkey blend. I'll put a link down in the description. You can check it out. Now, it is a little pricier because it does come in a larger container, but I've had it for about 3 years, and it's been enough to make all the turkeys that I've done over the past few years. It's honestly my favorite. But no matter what rub you use, you can lay it on a little thick, but remember to taste your rub in advance. If it's a very high salt concentration, you could easily ruin your food by using too much. So just remember, taste a little bit in your hand, figure out how salty, how sweet, how spicy, and use it in moderation based off of your own taste preferences. Now this next step is one of what I feel the most important steps, and one that people often don't do, and that is injecting your turkey. Injecting your turkey, especially in the breast, is going to yield a much juicier and a more delicious cut of meat. Now, I personally, over the past couple years, have also perfected my injection. I use butter, I use brown sugar, I use salt, I use Italian seasoning and some barbecue rub. I'll put a basic recipe down in the description for you to check it out. But injecting it, and I inject in the breasts, I inject in the thighs, I inject in the legs. I will tell you, it is the most delicious turkey you've ever had. If you're skipping the injection, you're doing it wrong. So the next step is the style. Are you going to do that traditional Thanksgiving turkey where you've got the legs tied or pinned together, wings tucked back, that whole turkey presentation like you see in the movies? Or are you gonna do a spatchcock? I personally prefer the spatchcock method because not only does it cut down a significant amount of time in the cook, it also yields a juicier and more evenly cooked bird. I've done it both ways. Both of them are great, but personally, the spatchcock is best. If you don't have the proper tools, it can be tough because you've got to cut through the bones and remove that spine. Also, it can be a little grotesque. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to get your hands dirty and cut the spine out of a turkey, it might not be the best method for you. But I can tell you that if I'm not looking for presentation and I'm just looking for the best, most efficient method, it's going to be spatchcock 100% of the time. And truthfully, I know I talked about that perfect Thanksgiving turkey, that presentation. You can make a spatchcock look just as good, and it tastes even better. When it comes to cooking turkeys, I've found over the last few years that I like good smoke penetration. I like that additional flavor, but one of the things that I don't like is rubbery skin. So ideally, if we're looking for the most smoke, I'm gonna be cooking this at 225 degrees with as much smoke as I can, typically a blend of some fruit wood like cherry or apple, along with some hickory, because I do like that little more potent smoke with the hickory. When you cook at 225 degrees and you cook the turkey all the way through, you're going to get a rubbery or leathery skin. And for most people, it's not desirable. So what I like to do is take the first hour of my cook, set it at 225 degrees, and hammer that turkey with as much smoke as possible. From there, I bump it up to about 285 to 310 degrees, somewhere in that 25-degree window. It's gonna cook faster, you're still gonna get that smoke, and it's gonna be super juicy. Now, the last thing in the cooking process that I wanna talk today about in terms of preparation, and that's going to be basting the turkey. You're going to see people do all sorts of things. You're gonna see butter based, where people melt butter and brush it on or spray it on, or they spritz with some kind of broth or brine. I don't typically do that, but I will tell you that I have glazed a turkey in the past. I'm gonna be glazing turkeys this Thanksgiving. I use a honey bourbon with a little bit of Cajun seasoning towards the end of the cook and just brush it onto the skin or drizzle it onto the skin. And let me tell you what, it is absolutely phenomenal. It adds that fourth dimension that you've never had. The combination of the injection, the brine, the seasoning, and that glaze, phenomenal. Look, I'm just here to help. You might have a method that works out great for you. Consider the points that I've made today, from fresh to frozen, from wet versus dry brine, injecting versus not injecting, spatchcock versus whole, picking your seasonings and your smoke preference and the temperatures that you cook at. I've cooked a ton of turkeys over the past few years, and to be honest with you, when I'm cooking for my family or friends, I'm a little apprehensive. I have this fear of disappointing people, so when I've cooked for the family, or I've cooked for friends, or I cooked for my wife's work, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little nervous. And the turkeys that I've made over the past few years using some of these methods and these tips that I provided today has not only created some of the best turkeys I've ever had, I've gotten nothing but amazing compliments from everyone that's had it. So if you want those compliments and that confidence this year at your Thanksgiving table, and you want to impress your family and friends, use these tips, follow some of my cooking videos for my turkeys. They'll be coming out here soon. And you will have the confidence and the comfort that you need to make that best turkey. But until then, I'll see you next time at Anderson's Smoke Show.